What if someone were to say, what if someone told you that the Second Amendment, your as an American, as a United States American citizen, your Bill of Rights, your Constitution, your right to bear arms. What if someone were to tell you that all these things were never really real? And the hearts and minds of blind souls, it was very real. It still is to this day, even though we have plenty of evidence to suggest it not being so. But in the minds and hearts of many, and this is not a you're dumb, look how smart I am, you're dumb video. That's not it at all. I myself, at a point in time, believed that there was a greater an advantage and a greater way of life on one patch of grass rather than another. Me being born in a place where a lot of basic freedoms are restricted and negated by the governance in place. So I myself understand, and even and others in my father's era, my father's time, understood it even more so. Again, as being born in a place where folks are not so free. But I've came to that realization, and I just wanted to ask you folks, whoever's watching, what if you were to realize undeniable proof that all of this was a MAGA trick? I'm sorry, I meant to say a magic trick. It was all a magic trick. It was all the hand is quicker than the eye. All of it. From the very beginning. From the beginning of the explorers to the overtaking of the land. And I mean, just evaluating the evidence of how the land was overtaken, because it wasn't discovered. Okay. To the so-called first president, who they told us was the first president. At least that's how they want to have it in the books as a, recorded in the books as it happened. But if you do a little digging, you realize that also wasn't the case. So what if? Okay. And I get it. The silliness of invisible lines on a map it's just kind of redundant to me. But for the sake of the audience that I'm speaking to, I wasn't necessarily born on this patch of grass, of land. I was born in a different patch of grass and land. But to those that have been born in this patch of grass of land for generations, your pappy and your grandpappy, and all of the mixture, of indigenous bloodline that you may have, and all of that jazz, or Eastern or European. But the fact is that, you can probably trace back all the way back to your grandfather or your great grandfather, uh, establishing a life and raising their family on this patch of grass and land. So my question would be for you: what if you were to realize with undeniable proof, without a shadow of a doubt, that it was all a tactic to control your perception and the perception of your ancestors, the perception of your grandfathers from the very beginning? What if you were to realize that the only rights, alienable rights, I believe is the term, that you have are the ones that the Creator of all creation gives to you himself? Where would you be at then? Well, tell you where you would be. You would still be a lost soul without the guidance, without the true guidance of seeking your Creator in spirit and truth. You would still be lost. And I'll tell you why. After receiving such a profound revelation of truth that your carnal mind can comprehend, you would still be lost, because you would still be heavily indoctrinated and programmed to function the way that you have been indoctrinated and programmed to function in. And you would be doing it out of fear. Now, again, follow me here. I'm not saying that you're a scary cat, mama's boy, or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that you're under the skirt of your auntie, or whatever the term is there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're a sissy boy. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. When I use the term fear versus love, just think of it as in terms of lies versus truth. Okay? I know there's some tough men out there, I know that. But that's also part of the devil's lie. Part of the devil's lie is that you need to show some kind of physical toughness that's visible to the carnal eye to establish yourself as a man, when the reality is that you are more than flesh and bone. And true toughness goes beyond what you can display out of a sack of meat and bones. Is beyond that. Because in the realistic, animalistic reality of things, some folks are born bigger, some folks are born smaller, some folks are born more capable physically, some folks are less capable physically. It's just reality. But internally, we were all created to be equal. When the Father sees us, he's not looking at whether you have 15-inch biceps or 22-inch biceps. The Father doesn't care about how big your biceps are in terms of power, because that's not what true power is in the eyes of God. Okay? So, when I say fear, I mean the strengths that you lack versus the strength that you gain and have by seeing things through the eyes of the one that made you. Okay? So, you would be at a disadvantage even after learning that one profound piece of knowledge, that it was all just a circus act. that was just a show. A show that was prepared to do just that, entertain you, to control your perception of reality and control the way that you see things as reality in order to be able to manipulate you and to get you to do what someone wants you to do. There's a someone. There's a someones. Okay. And remember, our battle is not against flesh and blood. There's no man alive or dead that can hold a grudge this long. Understand that. There's only one that can hold a grudge that long, even before our creation, which is how we got in this mess in the first place. Okay. So, I know, I get pretty deep pretty quick. I'm sorry. You're either here because you're here, or you're here for different reasons. And if you're here because you're here, then you're here because you know. you know? Threw a Kamala Harris there. Yeah, laughter. If I had one of those little fancy computer programs, I'd insert laughs right here, right now. Anyways, moving past the corny jokes. I leave you with that question. What if you were to realize and be presented with the undeniable, undefeatable proof that it was all just a circus act from the very beginning that your grandfathers took the bait on. And now we're here wondering, why aren't the bad people arresting their own bad people? And what are we going to do next? I give you my advice. Take it with a grain of salt. Who the hell am I? But what I choose to do is I choose to put my Creator above all things, first and foremost. And I don't worry, and I don't fear, and I don't concern myself with the things that I have to allow my Creator to concern himself with. It's not my concern. I read the story. I know how it ends. My concern is how I react to the chapters in that story. And the only way that I can do that is when I flip through the pages that are revealed by the mediator, by the Holy Spirit, that reveals all truth from the one who made me. You do that, you'll be just fine. When everything's crumbling down and everything's on fire around you, if you do that and you truly mean it from your heart and you stop concerning yourself with the things that you really won't have any control of, because if you think you're going to beat the devil at his own game without the power of the Creator, think you know the answer to that. So, I don't know. I'm happy today. I should be happy every day, but happy is, happy comes and goes. Joy endures. The joy that comes from the Father endures. But I don't know. I feel nice today. I'm joyful and I'm grateful. I'm very grateful. And I don't judge you on the other side. I don't judge you for the things you don't know. The Father, on the other hand, judges your heart for the things you do know and ignore. The things that count. Because you choose to put the things of this world before the things that that still voice reveals to you internally, the things that really count. If you ignore that voice, then don't get mad or cry when things don't go your way. Bless you guys. Remember, always Yah first. Everything else comes together when you put Yah first. That is the main point of this message. Bless you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Enjoy your weekend.